the history of this group. So the ones who are new learn about how long we've been doing this, why we're doing it, and a little bit about these meetings and what is the purpose. So these meetings actually start 7 or 8 years ago in Denver, Colorado. We start in person. And at that time, we were actually meeting once a month. In the same way, we start a little bit more with education and then really focus in women network. Over the pandemic, we took it virtually, and I am so glad because now we can meet with wonderful women from around the world. The purpose of this meeting is to connect. And I always say that you sometimes meet great people, but the next part and most important, I really stress that is to follow up. So please, I will actually ask you, not yet, but at one point I will ask you to share your contact. And please make sure to copy that before you close the meeting, because otherwise when we close the meeting, you lose that. The idea also is to support each other in our journey of business, and to create this a community of thinkers, of risk takers, of helping each other to really grow. So that's the purpose of this meeting, to support each other in the business journey. Now, the way that this meeting goes is I introduce myself, and we go around, we introduce ourselves, we tell our name, what we do, where we are, because where we are located is important, and what we do, and also what is a good lead for us. What kind of lead do we need right now? Someone has the speaker on.
Just pay for it first, and then here, take this phone downstairs.
Let me see. Stephanie, I think you have there you go. So anyway, so we're gonna go around, we're gonna introduce ourselves, share where you are located, what kind of business you do, and also what will be a good lead for you. My lead, or I'm looking for this, so the more specific, the better. And then we're gonna add something, and that is about if you have the opportunity, someone give you a flight ticket, where do you go and who do you take with it and why? Somebody say, okay, I will give you a ticket to wherever you want to go and who you will take. So where will you go and who you will take and why? Okay, so that's the last part. And then we pass it to the next person. So I'm going to start. So my name is Maria Pannan, and I am located in Denver, Colorado. I have been in Denver for 30 years, actually. I am from Bogota, Colombia. But before I came to the United States, actually, I live in Switzerland and I live in France. My business is one of the reasons that you hear the most, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we have a certification program. And we actually give certification. We provide certification to leaders who really want to implement DEI strategies. So a good client, a good lead for me is any leader who really want to invest in diversity, equity, and inclusion, who want to learn. This is about education. So it's an 8 weeks. And so anybody, that's my best lead. Anybody who really want to dive in learning about history, about measurements, about laws, send it to me, please. Now, okay, so the next is, if somebody gives me a ticket, where will I go and who I will take with me? So, I haven't been home for a while. So I think if somebody gives me a ticket, I will go to Bogota, Colombia. And I actually will love to take my son with me, because my son is in college right now. And when they start going in college, I don't know. I feel like they just go in their own bubble and they just want to go home again. So I would really love to go with my son, and I will go to Colombia. And I hopefully they allow me for me to have a first class, because I love to fly in first class. So that's about me, and I will pass it to Tiffany.
Thank you for that intro, Maria. It was really fun to learn about you. This is my first time on this call. I've been meaning to come for a while. My name is Tiffany Ablola, and I have a former career as an employment lawyer. And now what I do is I'm an EOS implementer. For people who don't know what that is, I put an operating system into small, medium-sized businesses and help them get more vision alignment in their executive team. So I work with the executive team, and we plan for the short-term, long-term future and get them aligned on what that looks like, increase accountability with all the tools, and then increase team health at executive team level so the rest of the team can be healthy. So that's very fulfilling and fun for me. And that's through the course of one-day sessions, once a quarter, typically. The next question was, what is an ideal lead?
Yeah, where are you located?
I'm located in Orange County, California, and I'm originally from the Washington State, Seattle area. And I've lived here for about 20 years now, so I'm a local. An ideal lead would be someone on C-suite in a small to medium-sized company who feels stuck. So perhaps the owner or executives are doing a little bit of everything and they don't want to continue doing that. They're having a tough time figuring out how to keep good people, why they're not bringing in people who fit what they do, and also get clarity on the business. So oftentimes succession planning or wanting to get out of the business so the owner can do more of new projects.
Thank you.
And then if I were to have a ticket, I would go to Greece. My husband and I got married in 2020, just before the pandemic in February. So we didn't actually take a honeymoon. We haven't yet. I would take him and my toddler, and I would hope for a good outcome. He's had one plane trip so far. He didn't do great, but he's older now. It's really nice meeting all of you.
Thank you, Tiffany. And as for that, the first class.
Yes.
Especially when you travel with kids, more comfortable.
I agree. Thank you.
Who you gonna call? Did you wanna call someone?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm looking at Stephanie.
Hi there. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate it. Hello. Good morning. My name is Stephanie Austin. My company is Austin Global Solutions. I am here in Frisco, Texas. I've been here for 9 years now. I am originally from New York, the Bronx, New York. I've lived all on the East Coast. My parents moved us from New York to Atlanta. And then I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I also lived in California for a while in Santa Barbara, lived there for about 5 years. And so my business is Global Solutions, which does support businesses on their project management opportunities, back office, whether it's IT support, whether it's help desk support, whether it's administrative support. I partner with several companies in regards to what I do, as well as HR support. And those supports are truly remote supports for organizations. So I'm looking for organizations small to medium size. I work with a company now. She's on the call, Kelly Flowers, CEO, as her project manager, also Global Solutions and others. And so that's what I do there or here. Where I want to go, Tiffany, you took my place, Greece. I have always wanted to go to Greece, and for several reasons. I went to college, and I started out college in Atlanta, and I went to I don't know the name of my college. It'll come back. Oh, Mercer University. And that's one summer I worked at a Greek restaurant. They were from Greece. And I love the food. I love Greece foods, but my favorite is the dessert, of course. Kelly knows that. She's like, I know you're obsessed with dessert, baklava. So I would love to go to Greece, and I would take one of my daughters with me so that they can experience that with me. And that's who I am.
Thank you.
And so I passed the baton to Kelly Flowers now, being that I mentioned her name.
Yeah.
Actually, I was trying to play with my background so you all can see my logo, but it looked blurry. I said, just forget it. Well, my name is Kelly Flowers. I'm actually the CEO and founder of Women Leading Technology. We are a professional technology sorority that is all about women that are in the same space, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, architecture, and mathematics. Also gaming, coding, media, fashion, all those different industries. We welcome all the women from all of those walks of life. Most importantly, what we do is we actually pay it forward to the next generation of girls. We help them to find their passion early so they can live in their purpose, so they never work a day in their life because they'll be doing what they love. And so that's what we do. And so we start our programs from pre-K to 12th grade. I am actually from Detroit, Michigan originally. I live here in McKinney, Texas. I've been in Dallas now going on 17 years. I used to live in Atlanta, Georgia as well. But I've been here, like I said, for 17 years. Absolutely love it. It was a great move for me and my family. What my ask is basically anyone who is looking to bring our programs to their state in their countries. We're looking for people who would like to be one of our sponsors, volunteers, or whatever. If you want our programs in your states, our signature program is our architecture program, because we build life-size playhouses and donate them to women and children's shelters. But we also are on a global mission to build tiny homes to combat the homeless population. And so we have a lot of great initiatives that are happening worldwide. And we would love to be able to do this in your state or your country. So you can just reach out to us. You can also check us out on Good Morning America. We was just recently featured on there in August. And I can put the link in the chat, and so you guys can check it out. And then where would I go? How many tickets do I get?
I don't know.
Unlimited? Okay.
At
So
least one. Yeah.
So if I had tickets that were given to me, I would actually take my family, my entire team and their family, and we will all go to Greece and have a wonderful time.
My gosh.
We're all gonna have a party in Greece.
I know. We have to coordinate what date.
I think it's going to be a group rate.
That's right. So that's what I would do. I would take, because they are my family as well. So I would take them with me and along with their families and my family. So that's what I would do.
Thank you so much. You're gonna call someone?
Yes, it's called Deborah.
Morning, everyone. I'm Deb Young. I am co-founder and managing partner of Share Velocity. We are an international executive search firm. Started the firm in 2012, been doing executive recruiting for 25 plus years. I'm headquartered in Denver with Maria. And my good introductions for me, I work mostly in the lower middle market, private equity, founder-owned, family-owned businesses, helping them find their C-level talent. And I'm very big on personality. I study personality assessments, those sorts of things to try to make better fits for my clients. From the soft side of things, which I've been doing that for 25 years, and it's the big buzzword now. So I'm kind of like, where's everybody been for the last 25 years? Because people are still people. We really haven't changed that much. But so anyway, that's kind of a little thing that I enjoy doing, particularly for my firm. I do that work for our firm. Like I said, good introductions would be any C-suite executives, private equity firms, founder-owned businesses that are looking to bring in talent, swap, buy, acquire, merge, build out teams. I'm industry agnostic. So I believe if vetting people is not I mean, there's a skill to it, but it goes so much deeper than just technical skill sets. So, where would I go? Well, I see Greece is the hot topic, so I'll go to Greece too. I've never even been to Europe. So that has been on my bucket list. And I have a son who's 27 and he's working his tail off for Deloitte as a consultant. And I think he could use a good vacay. So I would take him with me, and my husband can come along too. The other trip that I would take for you California folks, and I'm planning it, is a drive from San Francisco down to Southern California on Highway 1. So that's next fall.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Wow, seems like we're gonna have a lot of people going to Greece. We have to make sure to get good reservation for everything. I was in Greece last year, actually, exactly last year at this time of the year. So, important, if you go to Greece, no matter how much vaccines you already have, there is something about getting COVID. I got COVID and everybody's something about, so make sure that, this whole thing with COVID and Greece, I was told before, I didn't think about it, but I got COVID. So just make sure to get all the vaccines and masks, and I don't know, God. Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah, my mom's 88. She just got back from Greece and she got COVID too. Just last month.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to call someone?
Sure. Maria?
Super, thanks, Deborah. Really lovely to meet you all. I haven't been onto this call before because I've literally just joined, so really, it looks fantastic. I'm Maria. I am the director of a business called Signature Associates, and I'm based in London in the UK. I am Irish originally, so moved to the UK 13 years ago and worked in various corporate businesses here in the UK. So we provide HR and finance services to small to medium businesses, and we work more with corporate business on a project basis. We work with global businesses, and at the moment are working with clients all over the States, Europe, Middle East, Ireland, and the UK. So we've got a fairly good spread when it comes to international HR and finance. In terms of what we are looking for, or what we cover off, we have retained, we provide interim HR director services as well as finance director services. So if you have an internal HR or finance team who are of a certain level, but you don't have strategic support, we work with business leaders in looking at business strategies, how to move their business forward, how to look at growing their people. But also we provide retained HR and finance services, which could be anything from basic contracts and handbooks right through to reward strategies or engagement strategies. So this full spectrum, and we've got a large team of associates that do that with us. What are we looking for? We're looking today for, I suppose, based on the people that we have on the call, is again C-suite or business owners, global startups, global businesses that are anything up to 500 heads based in different countries, lots of different locations, lots of different complexities. So we cover the whole remit. So that would be a really great lead for us. In terms of where I would go and who I would bring with me, it's a really good one. I absolutely love Greece as well, because I went to Santorini earlier in the year. I didn't get COVID, fortunately, but the food is amazing and dying to go back. So obviously I'm on for the party with all of you lot. But I had a very interesting meeting during the week with a lady called Karina Gwetz, and she's just joined Global Chamber. She's based in London, but she does a lot of consulting in the Middle East. And I had convinced her to join after attending some of the meetings, and she's a longer term associate of ours. She spoke, when I met her during the week for a coffee, she spoke a lot about going back to the Middle East over December because there's a lot of new projects happening there in Saudi Arabia. We do a lot of work there. So I think this ticket, because we're still on work time, would be to the Middle East. And I think it would be bringing Karina because of her expertise in that area. So that's everything from me. I'll pass back over to you, Maria, unless you want me to pick anybody else. If there's anybody else left?
Yes,
Leslie. Yeah. So I'll pass to Leslie, please.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, or evening. I guess if you're in the UK, it's in the evening. Leslie Levy-August, glad to be here. I've been in the Global Chamber for a while. I keep meaning to come to these meetings, calls, networking, and I just haven't done it. So here I am for the first time. Really pleasant to meet you, and very impressed with everybody's backgrounds and what they're doing and leadership roles they're taking and paying it forward. All really, really good stuff. So I am currently a fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, for a technology startup called KYG Trade. And I have a background in international trade compliance and facilitation. Our startup is going gangbusters, and I actually left. I had my own small M&A firm that I'd started actually just about right when COVID started. And I kind of put that aside to put all of my attention into KYG Trade. We're a platform, an open platform that provides huge efficiencies for companies that need to manage their global trade compliance teams more efficiently. So we're a SaaS product, and we were originally built for small and medium-sized businesses, but it turns out that we're also getting huge interest from enterprise sized companies. So we're 2 years old. We landed our first enterprise client in February of this year. We've gotten 2 more since then. And as fractional CMO, my intention and the intention of the founder is to bring me on full time in the C-suite. But right now we're waiting for our next funding round. So, but for me, it's super exciting because it's right in my lane, and because I see it being really revolutionary for this little niche of trade compliance. I am located in Northern California, so somebody said they were going to do the drive down 1. Hi, Deb. Please stop by and see me. I'm in a little mission town called San Juan Bautista. I'm 40 miles south of San Jose, kind of on the way to Monterey. So lovely little place if you've got time. But I've lived in New York for 13 years, and I grew up and worked in the Chicago area as well. What's our ideal lead? So our ideal lead is pretty much any company that's doing imports or exports or both, that is looking for a way to better run, operate, or gain efficiencies in their global trade compliance operations. So for those of you that may not be familiar, global trade compliance is essentially all the rules and regulations around getting in and out of countries with your goods. So anybody that's shipping product or importing product or even software can benefit from this solution. So I would say our ideal client is, you kind of want to say the big enterprise client that's looking for the huge solution, but in reality, there's a ton of middle market businesses that could really benefit from what we're doing. And the thing I really love about it is that it is accessible to the SMEs price-wise. So I like the idea that it's part of the democratization of trade. So for those small and medium importers and exporters, people that are trying to grow their business, this is a great solution. Doesn't require a big IT lift, doesn't require long-term commitments, and we're global. So we can do this in any country around the world. We have all the rules and regulations related to every country around the world. As far as tickets and where I'd go, since I've heard so much about Greece, I would love to take my husband to Dubrovnik, Croatia. That's a place that we both have been to, but not together, and both love. So we would go to Dubrovnik, but it's not that far from Greece, so I'd be happy to hook up with everybody before or after the Dubrovnik trip.
Thank you so much. That's really good. Well, we're gonna go to the next part, and I am so excited because a couple things. Stephanie is someone that is very active in the Global Chamber. And I'm going to ask Stephanie if you can share 3 skills that work for you as far as networking, 3 skills that you implement when you network.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know I was going to be called to the floor, but I would say the 3 skills I would recommend is that connecting with the people that are around you. One phrase that I love, I know I'm singing Kelly's praise, but I use this phrase that she says with people. And when she meets people, it's not about spilling all about what she does or her business, right? She listens to what they're doing, what their business, and then she asks them, how can I add value to your business? And that just make people, I mean, they stop and say to her, no one's ever asked me that. No one's ever even really was concerned to ask me of that. So asking people, how can you help them? How can you add value, what their needs? And then just listening to people. It's not always about selling your business, just kind of listening and connecting with them on a personal level, because then they feel that you genuinely care about them. And even if you walk away at that moment and not solicit your business, right? You can always circle back around, and you also can share, hey, you mentioned to me that your mom was having surgery. How did that go? And so that goes a long way, making it more personable and then also being intentional. You have to kind of hit the floor, hit the ground running. And I had my business as Austin Project Management, but I do a lot of other things. I've been in the healthcare arena 20 plus years. And so I've done healthcare consulting, healthcare management, operations is my background. So that's really my niche. And project management is my niche. So trying to be intentional in meeting those type of people. It's challenging when it's a small business because small healthcare or clinics or small practices are working very lean. And so therefore they think at the time, oh my goodness, I cannot afford you, but you cannot afford me not to have me, because this is going to help you be more efficient. So I would say one thing is being intentional, work with your network around you. Like Maria, you have this meeting here all the time. And please forgive me for not being here more often, but people may think, why do I need to go consistently? Because there's always new people that's attending this meeting. And this allows you to connect with people. So connecting with them on LinkedIn, and then going to people's profiles, looking at their first connections to see if the businesses or the connections that they have could potentially be businesses for you. So let's say I go to Maria's connections, and then I see on her first connection a company. Reach out to Maria and say, hey, I see that Stephanie Austin is your first connect, and this is her business. I really would like a warm introduction. So that then makes it even more personal, because that person more than likely knows who Maria is. And if not, Maria knows how to work it so that we can meet. And then also attending many of the Global Chamber meetings. I mentioned I had a Global Chamber meeting last night, a network event. And one lady said, I wasn't going to come. And I told her, and as she said she's glad she did, because it's not about, it's a networking event. I don't know if I'm going to, these people are going to be what I need. But you're making connections. Again, you're making those connections. So hopefully I answered your question.
Oh, Judy, thank you so much. Before we move into the next thing, I just saw that we have Dr. Delbar and we have Meg today joining us. But before we go, I really want to highlight a couple of things that you said that I think are so important, and that is to be a listener, a good listener. It's so important to be present. So yes, and yes. I think being intentional, Stephanie, goes very far. And we're gonna let Dr. Delbar and Meg to introduce themselves. Yes, go ahead.
Can I add something like today when you had us join in? You like turn your cameras on. We're here to connect as women. And that makes a difference because when your camera's off, I mean, we can be honest with each other. We're multitasking. We're multitaskers as women, and that is what we do. So when your camera's off, you're so busy trying to do other things. But when you have your cameras on, you get to see Tiffany's face. You get to see Deborah's face. You get to see Leslie. I saw Leslie Cat. You know, you get to see people who they are. You get to see their expression. So that's that connection again. We may not be in the same room physically, but we're in the same room virtually.
I absolutely echo that. Something about maybe, I don't know if there is something like business etiquette, but it's so hard when you having a business meeting and the other person have the camera off. It's so hard just for you to stare at what, I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm getting very old, but I don't really connect with that. I need to see faces, especially if I'm doing business. Otherwise, let's have a phone call. Why to bother to do a Zoom call? I mean, it's like, I had an event not too long ago, and one of the people actually keep showing up with the camera off, and I had it. I say, no, I cannot work with you this way. I have to just connect with you, or let's have a phone call. But anyways, I don't know if there is something like, I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't know if I'm the only one about feeling like, oh, I want to see faces. So do you have ever experienced that in a business meeting, you have a business meeting set up and the other person doesn't turn the camera on? Have you ever experienced that?
Yes.
How do you
actually.
feel?
So with me, I do that sometimes and not on purpose. A lot of times my camera doesn't work because I go from one platform all day. I go to 4 different platforms all day.
Right.
So I may go from a Zoom to a WebEx, from a WebEx to a what is it, Teams, and sometimes my mic won't even work, and sometimes my camera won't even work. So it's not intentional. It's just that sometimes it just happens. That's just how technology is. And I know this because I'm in technology, but that's just the way technology is. And sometimes there are conflicts between one another. So a lot of times it's not intentional that the person doesn't want to connect with you. It's just sometimes the technology may not work on their end, depending on, what just transpired before they connected with you. So don't take it personal.
No. I think that also it's good to say like that, oh, my camera doesn't work. Okay, fine, great. But what I'm saying is that you have a very important meeting when you have to, and there is no, there is no reason. So it's just an interesting. We're gonna go ahead and actually ask Dr. Delbar to please introduce yourself. Tell us where you are located, your name, what kind of work you do. And I know you've been in our meetings before, so you are familiar with this. But the last part that we actually sharing today is if somebody give you a flight ticket, where do you go and who you will take with you?
Wow, interesting question to start my day with. So, hi everyone. My name is Delbar. I'm located in Vancouver, BC. Oh, hi. Hi, Deborah. Let me see who else I know. And of course, Maria. And so, yes, I'm located in Vancouver, BC. What I do, my background is PhD psychologist, but mainly I do organizational development. I'm a professional MCC, ICF coach, and also an Agile enterprise coach. And what I do as a business is help and support organizations with this accountability management tool that I've designed. It's a research-based for companies to enable them to manage uncertainty and predict unpredictables. Very short and simple, this is what I do. And I'm always amazed to be a part of, women's empowerment or women's leadership, I always call that, and especially for today's event. Thank you for having me and sending me the invite. And I'm so sorry if I was late, which I was. Again, as I think Kelly was mentioning, I had a very unfortunate and very unusual technical problem. So I couldn't just, join earlier. Sorry, but thank you.
What about your ticket? Where will you go?
Oh, I forgot about the question. Sorry. Wow. Okay. I don't know the place, to be honest. I'm trying to articulate a place, a location, but a place that it's calming. It's too complicated or maybe too frustrating at the moment that what I'm going through. I think I really need a peaceful moment to just think of and process what has happened, especially the previous year. Any place, any locations, guys, any suggestion, I would love to take.
Go to
Thank
Aruba.
you. Oh, never been there. Sure.
Aruba is a nice, peaceful island.
It is, I've heard.
Very nice. So
Been there.
think about it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
And then let's go with Meg. Hi, Meg. Nice to have you today in the meeting.
Hello, I'm Meg Seitz. I'm so sorry. I was late too. I apologize.
No worries. You are here.
I'm here. I'm happy to be here. My name is Meg Seitz. I live and work in Charlotte, North Carolina. I own a company called Toth Shop, Toth Shop. And we are a communications agency. We take care of external comms, internal comms, corporate storytelling. And probably within the last year, we've been really serving as a relief pitcher for mid-size and large companies who are starting to scale back their marketing teams and still have really long marketing and editorial and blog posts, like all these writing to-dos. We've been serving as a relief pitcher to help move some of those writing pieces across the finish line. So as you can imagine, with communications, we're part thought partner with clients, and then also actually taking things over the finish line. So writing pieces, coming up with concepts, drafting, writing, and then oftentimes publishing, so that we take all of that off your plate, a lot of that logistics. I've owned the company for 8 years now, 8 or 9 years. I joined the Global Chamber just last year, so I've shown up at a couple events, but this is my first time here. And quick story about the name of our company. Like I said, it's Toth Shop, T-O-T-H. Toth is my middle name, and it's actually the name that my great-grandmother used when she left her tiny town in Hungary and came across the Atlantic to start our family here in the US. So that was her maiden name. That's my middle name. And so it's on a plaque at Ellis Island. And it's just kind of the spirit of how we like to work with people. We love to work with female-owned companies. We love to work with female CMOs, and just really helping to chart a new course for a company and for personal brands and whoever might need some help with their writing and their storytelling.
Really good.
The ticket that I'm buying, I would probably say I'd buy a ticket now for London at Christmas time, because I feel like London at Christmas is like on fire. Between the lights and the shopping and all of the flair, I feel like that's one of my favorite places to be. So I'd probably buy it now and then plan to hit London at the end of November.
Yeah, London. Well, a lot of people is going to Greece, just telling you.
I know. I must have missed that. But if you're going, I'll go. I mean, I'm here for it.
No, I will go to Colombia because I haven't been at home for a while. So everybody else is going to Greece. So they have to tell us how that went. So yeah.
That is true. I feel like a lot of people have been going to Greece these days. So I've heard really good things. The pictures, everyone comes back with these gorgeous pictures. So you'd probably all go and I'd be jealous because I'd see all the photos.
Yeah, I will say if you go to Greece, make sure to go to Malta. It was my favorite place in Greece. Beautiful, very international, truly international place. It's just gorgeous. So don't forget, Malta is the one to go. Food always, I don't know. I went to wonderful restaurants. Somebody was talking about desserts. OMG, desserts. Oh, gosh, that's sweet. That was the best. Okay, now we're going to move forward. And the next part, actually, I'm going to talk to Tiffany to share with us a little bit about how to create team health. That's one of her expertise. And I want us to go with something out of this meeting. So, Tiffany, please take it.
Well, thank you for asking me to do this. And I would love to talk with you all and stay connected as well. Team health is a really big aspect of EOS. If you haven't already heard of it, almost 200,000 companies around the globe use the tools. So tools, free tools are available online for people to download. And for me, I'm always happy to jump on a call and help if possible in any way if you want to learn more about some of these tools that you can download online. So I'm going to share my screen, and this is a toolbox that I kind of wanted to give everyone a big preview of because the idea is that you have a tool that you can take away today. And one really big one is it's called Delegate and Elevate. And my other, well, I have a lot of favorites, but we're going to start with that one and then the clarity break as well. And how much time do we have to talk about all of this, Maria?
Oh, not too much. Actually, we will do the mostly 8-9 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. I want to make sure I'm considerate of everyone's time. So delegate and elevate. I will share what that looks like and kind of talk everyone through it real quick. So does anyone on the call ever think about, well, I have a lot to do. We mentioned it earlier. We're always multitasking. I have a lot to do in business and I need to get some of it off my plate. Do you have a system for what goes off your plate and where it goes? Okay, well, this is extremely simple but effective. So it's called Delegate and Elevate. And I will share with you what it looks like. And part of how this relates to team health really is the idea that what we delegate should go to someone who really wants to do at it and is amazing at it, so that you're elevating the person that it goes to, whether it's someone on your team or maybe it's something in your personal life. So there's another aspect of it called delegate, elevate, and automate. So we live in this world where there's all this tech available to us, right? So we can automate certain things. For instance, over the last couple of years, my husband was an early user of Instacart. And he was always like, just Instacart it. Why are you taking an extra hour or two to go to the grocery store? But I like that stuff. But I have adopted that to say, okay, I can automate certain things so that I can spend more time doing other things that I need to. So this is readily available online. I'm going to share it with you. And if it's something that that you feel is helpful to you, please do share it with other people. It's great for developing managers and leaders as well. So oftentimes the use case is, let's say I have a CEO who's in 3 different seats in the business. And it's like, well, I want to get out of the marketing and the sales seat. And maybe I just want to stay here in, I just want to stay here in my CEO seat, or sometimes we call it the visionary. So here's the tool. There's 4 quadrants. You love it and you're great at it, top left. You like it and you're good at it, top right. Bottom left, don't like it, but you're still good at it. And then don't like it and you're not good at it. So a lot of people spend more time in the bottom left quadrant than they would like. Hopefully you're not spending too much time in the bottom right quadrant. But the idea behind this, this exercise is that you spend time, take a half an hour, write down every single thing that you can think of that you do, from like making a scheduling appointment on your calendar to big picture ideas like partners for your company, or strategic ideas, or planning what's going on in the business 2 years out, as far as partnership opportunities, or who's going to be elevated in the organization. So the first step is writing everything down from little to big and putting it in the quadrant where you think it goes. It's not just what you do currently all the time. It's things that maybe you do occasionally that could be in what you love and you're great at. Second step is asking your colleagues or family for their input. And that's really enlightening sometimes, because you could ask your colleagues. I had an executive team member, the colleagues would say, we thought you loved doing that. You hate it? We had no idea. We'll stop asking you to do those speaking events. And that was a big relief for that person. So it's also very helpful to, as you're developing people around you, to give them tools like this. So that's one aspect of it. And some of the other tools that we utilize are meetings, where people actually rate the meetings at the end of it to get feedback on how it was from a 1 to a 10. And the reason for that is not to be in an environment where people feel like you have to get a grade for everything, but it's to get open and honest feedback on what we really thought the meeting outcome was and where we could have been better. And there's a whole meeting agenda and format that we oftentimes use, but that's the general focus and idea, which is to become an organization where there's a culture of sharing what we think and being open to saying it, and everyone receiving it with the idea that there are good intentions behind it and we're trying to improve. So other aspects of team health are like identifying and discussing and solving issues and really getting to the root cause of it. So those are some pretty big main concepts that I can't dive deep to in detail. But the last one I want to pop in there is clarity breaks. Who needs more time to think on their business? Yes. So the idea behind clarity breaks is amazing. And I know everyone needs more of them. But clarity breaks, we really encourage it to be scheduled regularly. If you can only start with once a month, then to do it. There's some really great questions out there that you can ask yourself to make it a productive break. This clarity break field guide is amazing. I just picked it up. It's not part of EOS, but it was written by someone who used to do this work. And it's a beautiful way to look at your clarity break. If you're someone who sits down, you're like, what do I think about? I set the time to take a break to work on my business, but what do I think about today? And so those are a couple of tools and tips that you can take. And please feel free, ask me questions, or if you want links to the books I just shared, I'll drop it in there along with the quadrant exercise.
Thank you so much. I would like to
Yes.
hear your thoughts on that. Thank you for taking the time. This is great tools. I would like to hear you guys what do you think about it?
Yeah.
Yes, Deborah.
It's interesting, Tiffany, that you're talking about this morning. I was listening to a podcast and I was getting ready, and it was some, motivational, inspirational speaker like Ed Milet kind of person. And it was talking about, if you can't love something that you're doing, move on to something that you do love doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you can't learn to love it, give it to someone else. And even just to use the example of just taking out the trash, if you absolutely just hate doing it, and that's just such a silly example, but if you can't learn to love it, God, delegate it away, give it to someone else to do, because we have so much stuff in our lives that bog us down from the stuff that we don't like. And, from profiling leaders in my role, one of the other things that I think so many leaders miss, and I think this might be part of what you were alluding to, the kind of work you do, is really finding out what an employee's jam is. What do they really love? Because when you're forcing them into doing something that they just hate, you're going to get disengagement, plain and simple.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
good leaders need to ask those questions and find out what is it that is your sweet spot.
Absolutely. Another big aspect of it too is that some people aren't meant to be leaders or managers in that typical way, and that's okay. And a lot of this is having those discussions, exploring that, and saying, okay, you aren't meant to manage people. That's okay. We got to figure out what your area of genius is, and clarify it to everyone, and give people the freedom to do what they do well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that from the leadership perspective is one of the biggest quality is to identify what are the qualities of each team member and utilize those. And it's not easy. That is something that actually Tiffany mentioned, to asking. And I think that the ask, and especially in this way, is very healthy because a lot of people assume, and assuming doesn't really take us far because we ended up going backwards when people ended up doing what they don't like to do. So, yeah. Quick question. So when you chair, let's say, what is the best time for you as a leader to chair this ideal, you know, um, ways to implement, or how do you do it in company? Do you have a conversation, Tiffany? How's that works? Usually when you have a meeting, and what is it? How do you deliver this? At what point? Before you start a project? When you get hired? What is it? What do you think?
Yeah. And so to clarify, do you mean the conversation of is this a good right person and right seat, what we would call it? Okay. That comes up all the time, right? And so part of this is that it should come out in the hiring process. It should come out in the evaluation process, and it should come up regularly. So when executive team meets, ideally, if you have let's call it an issue of whether someone's a right person in the right seat, it should come up in your executive meetings, and you should have a way to talk through it. So there's a couple tools to do it, but there's we call it the people analyzer. You have your core values on the left side, and whether the person gets the job, do they want it, and do they have the capacity to do it. It's a very nice shortcut to figuring out where we are with that person. And so when I first do it with the teams that I work with, we do it on the executive team themselves. So let's say Janet nominates herself for a marketing seat. Everyone goes around the room and kind of does that open and honest assessment for her, and then she does it on herself. So we start with ourselves, and then we do it with the rest of the organization.
That's wonderful.
Does that answer your question?
Very much so.
Yeah.
I think it's really, goes with the name, teams. That's straightforward. So before we forget, please make sure to write down all your contact information in the chat box, and please save it before the meeting is closed, so you have everybody's information. And like I always say, following up is the next step to really connect with those that you would really like to continue the conversation.
Thank you for hosting a great meeting.
Oh, you're welcome. I love this. I always call this is an investment. I feel like this is social capital for us. We need this. This is so important. We cannot do it ourselves by ourselves. We need people. We need each other to grow. So that's the way to do it. Okay, it's 2 minutes before we go. Thank you so much. This meeting is every month. I hope to see your beautiful faces next month. Have a wonderful day today, a wonderful weekend coming up, and the holidays are around the corner. I know we are multitaskers, but let's take care of ourselves in the process. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.